Are you working with a ski jump nail? How to put an enhancement on that is kind of difficult. Let's talk about that. So I got a great question on a video I did called Use Your Full Cover Tips Like a Poppet. You know those dual forms? This question is by M. Stormy, and she says, what about if you have ski nails? Back in the 80s, we called them spoon-shaped nails, or ski jump, or slope. So what this nail does is, you know how nails are either kind of straight, or they go, natural nails that is, or they go down a little bit? Ski slope nails, they scoop up. That's why we call them spoon-shaped too. They scoop upwards. Some can be really quite severe, and sometimes they still want to have acrylic nails or enhancements of some sort. And this was on my Poppet, a dual form video that I did. And that's a great question. How do you put a form, a Poppet or a dual form, or even a full cover tip on top of a nail that's going in the opposite direction? So here you have, normally we go this way, it's going this way. How do you put something on top of it that is actually going down a little bit or even a little bit more straight when you've got this end coming up? Okay? It's a great question because it really is perplexing. You won't really come across a ski slope or a spoon-shaped nail that often. But here's how we tackle it. The reason why it's difficult is because the apex point is where you want it to come down a little so you can build an apex on top. So when you see the ski jump nail right above that apex point, it's coming up so high, the natural nail, you can't get much of a apex on top of it. Or if you do, it's going to be really high. So how do you manage that? The best way I can see that I've done over the years, every time I see one, is I will shorten it like the natural nail completely right down. Because sometimes the natural nail will grow up and interfere with that apex space. So take the natural nail down as far as it can go. And if you're putting a form on, put your form on, but you're going to have to build the apex higher. It's just what you're going to have to do. You have no choice. If you go low like you want it to do, there's a good chance it's going to break because the apex is so close to where it's supposed to be and there's not much strength in there. So we do have to go a little bit higher. We don't want to go too high, but shortening that natural nail is key in this position. And if you're doing a dual form or a poppet, some people call them poppets, you want to get a lot of product in that space. So you're going to have to measure that, here's your scoop, here's your tip. Make sure that the tip, this point right here, is actually going to be higher. Now, it may lean up a little high. That's why a form in this particular type of nail probably is better. That means adding a paper form and custom building it. It's a little bit harder when you're using a full cover tip or a dual because it's already shaped for you, right? And if you get it too high, it's going to be high on this end. And if you get it to compensate, but it's going to stick up. If you try to match it to the cuticle, it could be low on this end and it's going to be, you won't be able to do it. It might literally be, your tip might be rocking on the free edge that's coming up, which is the just point before the free edge begins. Just to the natural shape of their finger, your little tip is going to be balancing on because you can't get it like that. But if you put a paper form on and custom build it, if you have those skills, that's a whole other animal. This kind of nail really does kind of demand a custom nail, built nail, which would require some more skills than simply a tip or a poppet, okay? So you can try that, try to compensate, but it's not going to look like maybe, so I find some people who have these maybe only have one or two that might do that. They all might do it, but sometimes just one or two. So you will find that if you do have a scoop or a spoon-shaped nail, it's not going to look like all the other ones if they're not a spoon type of nail. So you just have to make up the diff and best you can. Don't go too high in the apex, but you don't want to go too low because you don't want to break it. I also would recommend that you don't do those types of nails too long. The more pressure on that little shape is just really the opposite of what the structure is meant to be built on. Okay? So I hope those diagrams and my little this little diagram helps understand it a little bit better. If I do come across somebody that has a spoon-shaped nail, I will grab them and try to do a video for you to show you exactly how that goes. But some are quite severe and some are not as much. So the ones that are really strong, you really have to work that optical illusion. Okay? I hope that helps. Have fun with your spoon nails.